Hi, folks. Good morning. Good afternoon. See a lot of people join. So let's see if you're joining. Say hello if you want to say where you're coming from. We have people from many different nationalities here today, and the topic of the presentation in this webinar hosted by Mindgraph, which is a brand of Cactus Communication, like Mindgraph together with Editage are presenting this for you guys. So we have people from Spain, Zambia, Pakistan, Philippines, Venezuela, India, Guinea-Bissau. Interesting. That's really interesting. I'm myself, Pedro from Brazil, my own country. I was going to say that I myself am from Brazil, but of course I work in this large organization that is Cactus, started in India, but a truly international company. So we have a truly international audience as well. So the topic of today is the use of infographics in scientific communication, and then another question mark: is there a role for AI on that? Why the question mark? I mean, the whole purpose of the presentation is not to bring a direct answer, right? So let's align expectations on that. We do have some consistent work on AI and applications of AI to science in Cactus, but I'm not here to bring a direct response to this question. I'm here to foster discussion and take you through a journey where I can discuss the pros and cons of using AI on scientific communication, where we've gone so far in Mindgraph, and my own critical view on that as a scientist as well. So you see on the top banner, Dr. Fabrizio Pamplona, and that's an excuse for me to present myself really soon. But I am a scientist just like you guys. So just wanted to use one slide for you to understand the reach of Editage. Is the world's foremost academic solution partner to researchers, donors, publishers, institutions, and corporations everywhere in the world. So Editage mission is to accelerate the global scientific research communication by helping scholars break through the confines of geography and language, bridging the gap between authors and peer-reviewed journals, and now in bold, accelerate the process of publishing high-quality research. There are several brands involved in this mission. I'm proud here to be here on behalf of Mindgraph. This is a company I founded myself and was incorporated in Cactus portfolio 2 years ago. So you can see the numbers is 20 plus years of experience with a lot of impact, a lot of positive impact in scientific publication. So when I was going to say in the last slide, I am a scientist just like most of you guys. So if I want to describe myself very quickly, a scientist interested in scientific communication. That's the reason why I kind of pivot a little bit of my career from the bench side to scientific communication. I found this company, Mindgraph, which was incorporated in Cactus portfolio, and I'm bullish about AI applications. So I need to state my bias here. Okay, so I do believe that AI is here for the good. I do believe that we can generate interesting and productive and effective and reliable products with AI, and that also applies on scientific communication. So if you want to see a little bit of my career, and here's my LinkedIn, and if you want to keep in contact, feel free to just reach out and send me a message. And I brought on the right hand side just for those that perhaps don't believe I'm a scientist. So that's my Google Scholar. A little over 3,000 citations. So I did have a consistent international career as a scientist in the pharmacology field. So that's my field. If you want to discuss about life science communication, medcon, etc. So feel free, just drop the questions and comments, and feel free to interact with me throughout the presentation. Right, we don't need to wait until the end to make questions. Feel free to use the chat for that, and I will, when time allowing, I will make some stops ask questions for you guys. Let's interact a little bit. Sorry. So I issue pleasant journey. It will take around 45, 50 minutes of presentations with a lot of graphics whenever possible. So first things first, infographics in science. What are we talking about? What is an infographic to begin with? What's the definition? I mean, not everyone knows what is this, but I bet that you see that is something that very familiar for scientists. And second, where do we see them in science? Okay, that's the second relevant question. So definition. Infographic is a visual image, a visual element, such as a chart or a diagram, used to represent information or data. That's the Oxford Dictionary definition. Second one, Wikipedia, perhaps more modern, more updated. Graphic visual representations of information, data, or knowledge intended to present information quickly and clearly. So we have at least 4 things here to highlight. It's visual, it represents information, that should be read quickly and clearly. Okay, so I like to see infographics as a way to just go quickly through data, through some complex information in a way that you grasp the essence very quickly, but you can also further dig, further explore with the infographic if you want. And there is another definition that I like. An infographic delivers data and analysis in a way that helps your audience digest and understand information easily in a visually pleasant way. It keeps people's interest by lending a storytelling and visual elements to what could otherwise be stereo research data. So now it gets a little bit more familiar, right? So your research can be very interesting, but if you show the research just as charts or even worse, a table, just numbers and text, not everyone grasps it. Not everyone is interested. So the intention of an infographics is to show it visually, like with powerful graphics, so that it's attractive, but also in a way that it conveys information that is easy to understand. So an infographic, in essence, should be simple. And although this was a term created in the 70s, like the tagline of blending information and graphic, the use of the term infographic is way more recent. So we see from the years 2000 to now, because infographics were popularized in the internet era, particularly with a lot of data, and with the evolution of the data visualization tools, this all contributed to the evolution of infographics. But also, a lot of infographics were used in mail marketing and marketing, internet marketing in general, with this vertical format. Some of you may remember. It was very popular a few years ago. But how does that apply? How does that apply to science? It might not be clear for you yet, but it's becoming right now. So that's a good example of an infographic. That's an infographic done with MindGraph, by the way. I'm going to show you quite a few examples done in the platform. Are you guys familiar with that? I think you should. Even if you are a woman, even more important. If you are a man, also important. I have twins. I know how important it is to know if your wife is in a fertile period or not. You gotta understand this. But look, in this, without joking, this one page, it's a summary of a whole chapter of a book, if you want. You have the hormone levels here. You have the cellular evolution of an image of the follicles in the ovary here. And you have the morphological changes of the uterus during the course of this period of the cycle. And then you have like a timeline here. Did you guys realize that this is a timeline? It's not exactly the type of timeline that we typically see, right? Timelines tend to be relatively boring. Just a line with like the set points, and that's it. So this is a really beautiful and dense infographic of a timeline with several different stages of the woman cycle. Just to give you one example, and then you realize how familiar this is for scientists. Another example of a timeline, another dense one, of course, about dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? I should bring it. I mean, I thought I should bring this topic here. So this is an infographic. It was published on PeerJ just for you to see the adoptions of this sort of language in the scientific editorial market. And then you see first, uh, this is a table, like a comparison table, and then you see here morphological comparison between two dinosaurs and the comparison in size. You see geographical localization. You see evolution of the morphology of the bones. You see when it was discovered, and then you see when it existed. It's a real dense bunch of information. It's like, again, a whole chapter summarized in a figure. So that's the power of infographics. You can summarize a lot, your reader can grasp it quickly, but you also have the opportunity to impact and to inform a lot. So I need your reactions, thumbs up or thumbs down if you like the use of infographics in science. As I mentioned, I'm biased. This is part of my journey. I love it, and infographics are the very good, the real good point why I started with scientific communication. And that's another example. This comes from a paper. It's a very a famous paper on my topic on pharmacology. It deals with animal models of addiction, and the author Rainer Spanagel from Germany, he created cartoons, one cartoon to explain every animal model of addiction. So this is an infographic too. It is a process infographic where you have several steps of conditioning an animal. Did you ever picture an infographic like that? It is an infographic. I mean, we are used with this type of communication in comics, like as a child, as a teenager, but we don't realize how much information is here. It's like spatial information, sequence information, textual information. There's a lot of information here, and you grasp and you learn while enjoying it. So a few examples. This is a real like use case, a real figure from a user, just to show you that scientists create infographics too. You are already creating these sort of things, perhaps not with the right tools. So that's just a quick example, and one of the initial examples on how we could use MinderGraph to create a process infograph that show cellular differentiation. So we just help the author to create this in a different form that is a little bit more organized and visually attractive. That's another example. That's an infographic. We did a dance infographic we did for a pharmaceutical company to promote this product, Enterogermina. It's a probiotic. And then you see, charts, you see visuals showing the differentiation in the gut population. You see here showing where they localize and the effect of the product. You see mechanism of action. You see adverse effects. They are decreased with this product. Again, it's a dense information. It was a whole paper. In some cases, we do that. For companies, we create full papers, full research paper, typically clinical papers. We transform them in infographics. And this is, of course, like a premium service done by professionals. But I showed just in the previous slide that you can do that too. The users can do that. So graphical abstracts, this is more familiar. This has been used as summaries of papers. And even, as simple as this. This is a templated version of Annals of Surgery. You have like the kind of the objective, or what is the intervention, what are the results and conclusion. Very simple put, but it's interesting. It's more attractive than reading the abstract, and you can grasp the essence of the paper already in the first look. So a comment by Robert Chin: care must be taken in preparing infographics for a paper publication versus infographics for purpose of poster presentations. That's true. That's a lot to be taken care about that. First thing is visual guidelines. Some of the journals, they do have strict visual guidelines for that. Second thing is that the illustration should be scientifically accurate. That's something that most of people don't have access to unless they come to Mindograph. So that's one of our main concerns. And of course, you should be strict about the data. You know, the visual piece should be as serious, as well crafted as the paper itself. Okay, so I'm gonna discuss the controversial issue that happened with AI in a few slides. So what do the infographics have in common? The information is at the center of everything. It's all about information, but you tell a story with data. You don't just show the data. You tell a story. Okay, that's the difference. The infographics have a narrative. There are a few steps to create an infographic. First you read and organize the data. You summarize with certain limits. Okay, so we have like constraints, one pager, or the format, or the size. You know, you have constraints. You need to summarize, synthesize. You choose a layout for the text. We just saw a few examples of different layouts, and you add representative visuals that I just add should be scientifically accurate, or at least a decent representation of what you're doing. We have many examples of this in Mindograph. Just for to give one example, different mouse trains. You know, a lot of people use, let's say, inbred mice, and if this mouse line has a certain color, it's not appropriate to show, you know, just a generic mouse you'll find in the internet. Just this is just one example. So my question now is there a role for AI on this? You know, reading and organizing data, summarizing, choosing a layout, and add representative visuals. So that's the whole journey that I want to take you in. You know, it's not about asking if there's a role of AI in science or scientific communication, but by depicting the steps of an infographic creation, you can clearly see that some of these steps can be done by an AI, and they are actually being done already. And they are concerns, they are aspects that we need to take care, as Dr. Robert Chin mentioned, and I know for a fact that some of you are thinking and are agreeing, but that's make this discussion here, okay? So inputs and comments are welcome. So first thing, the large language models, LLMs, okay? Is there a role for AI or for LLMs now that is not the main tool for of what we know as AI? Is there a role on this for organizing and reading information? I believe so, but let's start understanding what's that. It's a deep learning algorithm that's equipped to summarize, translate, predict, and generate human-sounding text to convey ideas and concepts. It's basically that. You know, it's something that writes for you based on a gigantic basis of knowledge. And there are several different ones. Therefore, there are different models. And you can train your own. Even you, as a person, can train an AI to write as you want, with the constraints you want, using the words you want, or providing the knowledge you want. Okay? So that's the very basic thing. You should not just enter, let's say, ChatGPT and naively ask, write me a paper about whatever. That's not how it works. But that's how some people are using, and that's where most of the problems start. So this is a recent case that started a controversy. You probably have seen this. If not, you'll come as a big surprise. But that paper was published this year in Frontiers in Cell and Developmental Biology. It's cellular functions of spermatogonial stem cells in relation to JAK-STAT signaling pathway. You can see the authors, you can see the reviewers, and the main thing that attracted attention here in this paper were the figures, the image they used, but not in a good way. So this is this is one of the main image of the paper. There are three controversial images, and this was pardon my French, but this was known as the paper of the rat with the large penis. Okay, so I mean, this is ridiculous. Let's put in the right in the right place. Okay, so the authors just asked the AI to create whatever. I don't know exactly what was the prompt, but that's their attempt to perhaps explain the physiology of spermatogonia, of spermatogenesis. Sorry, uh, may help, but it's clearly not scientifically accurate. I mean, you don't need to be a scientist to see that this is not scientifically accurate. Pay attention to the text. Okay. Second thing, that was the diagram that the authors used to propose the mechanism, how it works, just how the jack-stat cascade pathways work. Again, pay attention to the text. There's not possibly a text for to be read by a human. Let's put this way, okay? In any language, it's basically just a lorem ipsum, as we say, like just a dummy text. And if you pay attention to the to the arrows, they don't mean anything. Look at this. If you're a student here, if you're a student and you're here, look at this. Just imagine if you're creating a diagram like this and you show this to your supervisor, you show that to your professor. I mean, it is a shame, isn't it? If I was like, let's say, a supervisor or even a PhD candidate teaching my intern, I really have a serious conversation with my intern if he delivers a picture like that and asks for my opinion. Okay. And now the third, even worse. This is like an artistic representation of whatever, like a generic cell. What does it have to do with jack-stat signaling pathway? Absolutely nothing. I mean, I bet this doesn't have anything to do with jack-stat. If you see like stat is written, in many places, jack is written in many places. Now, is that a way to create diagrams with AI? Yes, I believe so, and I've done so. But we'll get there. Okay. Exactly, Dr. Benny Rubinstein. How the heck does this paper get published in Frontiers? That's exactly my question. Okay. After that, several people are blaming AI for this mistake. Okay, so the robot is to blame, not the humans. Publishers are starting to be reluctant to accept authors that use AI in some form. Even to the point that this is a piece of text from Elsevier website saying that the use of generative AI and AI-assisted tools in figures, images, and works are not allowed. Elsevier does not permit the use of generative AI to create or alter images. So very controversial. Everyone is scared, and I think the robot is not the one to blame. Let's continue. So how scientific journals are fighting back against the torrent of occasional images. So first thing, people adulterating images is something that already happened, to our shame as scientists. This is not, kind of a robot application. But using AI, this is a very, very interesting paper, perspective paper to be read. Using AI, the authors could get, images like this. You see the original images in green, here, here, here. And then you have AI-generated images on red. So these things are stuff to be concerned with, not this. This is a joke. I mean, it's unbelievable how this paper could have been published. Now, this is not a joke. Now, people can actually create data with AI. I'm more concerned about this. And when I read the Elsevier statement, I think they are more concerned with this rather than the other. The other is just an irresponsible use of AI by the author, and is a joke, after all, in my opinion. But this is serious. Okay, you see, like there's a lot of histological images, like histopathological images, cell immunostaining. immunohistochemistry images, scanning micrographs of materials. I mean, bottom line, if you're a scientist and you want to fake a paper, you can, up to the level of the images. Okay. Of course, you can just enter your preferred chart software and create chart, right? You don't need to be, you don't need a robot, an AI to fake a paper. Now, people are blaming the robot, where, in my opinion, they should be blaming the people. But this is a point of concern. So we will see a lot of discussion around this, and it's hard for a human eye to understand where the original images and where are the AI generated images. And this paper proved that. Okay, when you see here, this is the accuracy score on the left hand side. You have real images, you have generated images, regenerated and edited. Human visual inspection, this is the level of accuracy, and then you have two different attempts to identify the image with AI. In almost all cases, and here below you have it separated by different images, different image types. In almost all cases, the AI was at least equal to the human eye in terms of accuracy, but often a little bit better. And believe me, we are just beginning the AI era, and then can be trained. So the idea is, let's use robots to fight robots. Did you guys watch The Terminator? That's a very important movie for my generation, at least. The humans fought the robots. I prefer Star Wars, when they also use robots to fight the robots. That's the fight. That's the good fight. Okay. So if there are people out there trying to fake papers, we can use AI to pinpoint that as well. But I believe the use of AI in text and image generation is bringing, of course, more difficulties. It's bringing more tools for people. They're not trustable. But in the end, this is probably not just to blame the robots. And I want to now tell you a little bit about the inner mechanism of image creation with AI. So those authors know of that paper that was retracted. They use Midjourney. Question is, was Midjourney the right AI to create an infographic? So AI is the Midjourney. Midjourney is the AI that created this. You probably saw several of these pictures of the Pope using like modern clothing. It's great, isn't it? I mean, just step a little bit out of your scientific mind right now. Think as a human. I mean, this is a paint, like a photo or whatever. It's a very realistic representation of a famous person in a different way. It's like creative. It's beautiful. And there are AIs doing that with videos. So, we are not yet at the bottom of that. And there's a lot of bad things that can be done with AI. But just from the artistic point of view, I believe this is beautiful. And Midjourney was created for this sort of things, okay? To create this. It's like creative images, unrealistic ones, creative, artistic ones, to this point. They create buildings like this that could not possibly exist in the real world. So it's fantasy, but of course it can be realistic as well. What does it do when you ask an AI that was trained to do this beautiful images, and you ask it to create an infographic? You get this. It's beautiful as well, but it doesn't represent anything. Look at the text again. Midjourney doesn't create text at all. Is just like layouts. It's almost like a painter. It doesn't read. So this all comes down to a person, misinformed person, using the wrong AI. After all, okay. Look at these infographics. They're beautiful, right? They're nice inspirations for the work, but it's not an actual infographic. this could never look at the charts. I mean, this is a joke. A person that takes a result like that and try to publish it, it should be banned from the scientific community, in my opinion. So do you think that this is just an AI issue? I mean, this paper was retracted. This is the correct answer to this. But I mean, somebody saw the figures and tried to publish. Somebody reviewed the paper and accepted. An editor said yes, and it was published. So I see at least 4 different categories of human mistakes here, and they are all involved, in my opinion. So that's not a robot issue. That's not an AI issue. This is kind of whatever gets paid gets published issue. Never said that, right? But that's what I believe. And this is, of course, the most controversial, the ugliest case of AI misuse in science. Now, coming back to how we can solve this problem. There are, in fact, some guidelines on how to create good infographics in science. Okay, what can happen if we teach an AI to learn these guidelines, an appropriate AI that works with text, work with images, things like that. So that's my main assumption to start working. So the steps to create an effective infographic to communicate science, according to this paper that I recommend you to read. I mean, it's more focused on social media and medical education, but we can kind of generalize to other contexts as well. So first, outline the content. You should not, go to your preferred graphic design software, and by preferred I mean MinderGraph. I hope you guys prefer MinderGraph for that. But you should outline the content first. Know your story. What's your primary goal? What's your main message? What's your target audience? Do not sit in front of the computer without knowing that. Then sketch the layout, organizing the data and the text. I like to do it by hand, even before seeing on the computer. Then select color scheme, visual identity, template of the journal or presentation of the poster, if you want, if you have these guidelines, and incorporate appropriate graphics. And now you know why I underline appropriate. Okay, so those graphics were not appropriate for a scientific audience. And these are the steps, again, according to the same paper. First, content, narrow down, synthesize your content, draft a layout, then select the software to create your presentation, your poster, that infographics may come in many different shapes and forms in science at this point. Create a color palette, or they use visual identity. Also, don't exaggerate on colors. Colors should be used to highlight or differentiate things. Use the graphics, and then you can get it done. So for these steps, can we use AI for all of them? Not all of them, not everything yet, but for some, yes. So this is where I show you one previous experience we had within MinderGraph. It was the poster maker, and now it starts the journey of how MinderGraph is trying to create the first AI infographic maker. To be honest, like the first one was already created, we did that, but we pulled back because this initial step, extract information, was done using simpler tools. Now we have really powerful LLMs, and we are adapting the tool to use these powerful, more powerful models. But the steps were extract information from a real paper or a real abstract, and then we organize this information for the author here, so the author can validate this information or edit. Then we suggested illustrations, all automatically based on the paper, based on the keywords and our own database of illustrations. By the way, MinderGraph, for those that don't know, is the largest gallery of scientifically accurate images in the world, and they are all come on the same style, so we can use them, without without being afraid of looking amateurish or something like that. And 4-step apply a template. So if you want to see how this tool works, this is a blog post here, and this tool will be soon be back in the market, probably second semester. Okay, like a new version of this tool for posters and for graphical abstracts. So that was our previous information. Previous experience. It was, I believe it was published in 2000, so 2001, around 3 years ago, and we pulled back to improve it. So that was the MindGraph journey to create the first AI infographic maker. At that time, applied to posters, which is just a big piece of infographic. Extract and summarize text from paper or abstracts using templates to lay out the elements, suggest appropriate graphics and visual elements, and apply text with a color scheme and visual identity. These 4 steps, some of them at that time, some of them using AI, some not. So basically, the AI was on the first step in this previous product. Now you're gonna see we wanna use AI for the other 3 as well. Okay, so there are different AIs, different models, different approaches. Now, one product is not necessarily made of a single AI. If you look at your phone, I mean, you see, iPhone is patented. There are 1,000 patents on iPhone. So I believe in using AI as components, and there are different AIs to do different things. So the first AI we created, and this is up and running in the product, but in the backend, was to read, describe, and categorize MindGraph illustrations with AI. So that was our very first mission. So imagine that we have a robot working in the company that can read. It can see the images, create the descriptions, and create the tags. Okay, and sometimes the images are really similar as those, different mice. You can understand that. Second mission was to create a model, to train a model to create AI illustrations in MindGraph style. So on the left-hand side, it's an image from our gallery. It was created by one of our illustrators. It is scientifically accurate because it was validated by a human, by a scientist, either internally or upon request from our user bases. And in the right-hand side, you see our internal model creating the same illustration with the same prompt. Okay, man, surgeon. We use the exactly same word as the file name just to see the results. So this is how we train that. So man, surgeon, casual front, you get this. 2 options, fair enough. You can use one or the other. People don't like that, but I like to believe that this is even better than this. But of course, it's not always as good as this. I'm just showing the nice examples. I'm gonna show a few failed examples in a moment as well, because I told you I'm not here to give direct answers. I'm here to conduct you through a journey and to foster discussions. By the way, if you have questions, feel free to ask. I just saw that the Q&A we have a lot of questions, and I'm gonna stop in a while just to answer them, or we answer by the end of the meeting. So the second thing, can the AI create a child playing with a cat? It does, and it's beautiful. You see in the left-hand side, I mean, it's a little bit of a strange clothing here, but you could see that a child could use that. Here, a little bit of clothing mistake as well. So AIs are not perfect, or not perfect yet, one could say. The evolution of the image then, it's really, really astonishing. It's a steep learning curve, but you see difference in the head size. I mean, it's more artistic at this point, but it works, right? So Komodo dragon, again, it's a nice Komodo dragon, isn't it? You could say, yeah, you could find mistakes if you want, although I do think that this Image is relatively nice, despite this fifth leg. You know, the fifth leg issue, it's a rather common one in humans and animals alike. But you know, on the right hand side, you see at least the four legs, perhaps a missing finger here. So we are getting there. Okay, it's not yet ready. It's not yet there to say it is scientifically accurate. But what is scientific accuracy after all? I understand scientific accuracy as being something that the scientific community accepts. Now, looking at the frontier paper, we know that scientific community is accepting a lot of low quality things, yeah, right? So we need to fix the scientific community. That's one thing. But the second thing is that provided that we have a human selecting what to drag into the Canva, I believe that since a scientist is using this tool and we generate enough opportunity for the AI to learn, it will eventually get, using the feedbacks of scientists, it will get to the level of being scientific accurate. And now I mentioned, sometimes it fails grossly, which is this case, hammerhead shark. This is not a hammerhead shark by any means. Is not. I mean, it has these things, and the fifth leg or third leg for humans or fifth leg for animals issue also happens with sharks. So we have a second tail here or some of this sort. Okay. So how to ensure consistency and scientifically accurate images using humans in the equation? So that's my hint. We need to employ humans in the equation at least for the feedbacks. Since I'm almost finishing the presentation, I'm going to go until the end. And sorry for not answering the questions during the presentation. We're going to have like 10-15 minutes or more for the questions. One of the observation, it's even a highlight. The craft of the prompts is determinant for the quality of the image. So here on the left-hand side, you see a prompt that just says an egg. This is an egg, right? Who am I to say that this is not an egg? It could be like a dragon egg or a fantastic egg, or something that could fit in the Lord of the Rings kind of scenario. But it's clearly not what I intended, what I meant when I said egg. What I said was, what I intend was regular chicken egg, centrally placed with plain white background. Just to turn the prompt a little bit more complex, but yet simple. This is still like human language, but it does give me the result I want. So this is the egg I want, not this. Okay, so you clearly see the difference. You need to instruct the machine so that you can get a good result. And sometimes it's hard to abstract from your own reasoning and try to understand how the machine would see that. So other examples here: a family having breakfast. Okay, so you see that this is even in the tool. It's in staging already. This is our text to image creation. This is the family. It is a breakfast. Yes, I believe it is a breakfast. It's like morning, a table full of foods. Of course, we have like weird legs. People are all dressing similarly. This is a little bit weird. The eyes is always an issue, but it is a family having a breakfast. Perhaps to some contexts, it's already ready to use in beta, as we say. So still under test, still getting feedbacks from the community. So what if I describe a family of 3 people, mom, dad, and child, boy, having breakfast? They love to eat bread with bacon and eggs. Dad drinks coffee, mom and the children drink orange juice. You do see an improvement, although the AI apparently have a problem with counting. I said 3 people, has 4 here, 5 here. So perhaps since I mentioned mom, dad, child, and boy, it counted as four. So we need to improve the prompting. You're having breakfast. Yeah, I believe they're having breakfast with bacon and eggs as prompted, but they're just having orange juice or the coffee is orange for some reason, and they're like facing to a portrait, right? This is something we can inform. Like it could be a natural scene, or they should be looking to each other, looking at the food, not to the camera. These things needs to be informed to the AI. Again, like a couple having, I try to be a little bit more descriptive. A couple having breakfast, they love to eat bread with bacon and eggs. Dad drink coffee. Mom and the child drink orange juice. He has blue shirt. She has pink shirt. A little bit more accurate, okay? Just two people. Color of shirts are fine. It looks like a coffee, and this looks like a juice, right? But and this looks more like a coffee. But perhaps you should say, look, Robert, coffee is a brown or a dark beverage, things like that. I mean, it's obvious for we as human, but you need to train, you need to inform the AI what you want to create. But it can draw exactly what you want. My insight is let robots speak with robots. If you cannot think like a robot, ask a robot to do so. So that's how I like to do prompting. I ask ChatGPT to create prompts for me. You can't create the AI. You can ask the AI to create prompts, or you can ask the AI for the elements. I mean, what are the elements you need to create a good prompt? So I try to start this dynamic within, and then as to summarize shorter version of this prompt in 300 characters, because 300 characters is the limitation of our interface, still under discussion. But then we have a final prompt. I mean, not perfect yet, but we have family of four enjoys breakfast in a cozy, warmly lit kitchen with pastel yellow walls. So we have information about the colors. A man pours orange juice. A woman serves pancakes, and two kids, one buttering pancakes, the other wishing from strawberries. So we see strawberries, you see the pancakes, you see the juice. Of course, this kid is missing an arm. This hand is weird. So things need to be improved, and they are being improved by the original AI. And they sit at the round table with a lit blue tablecloth. I do have some examples with the blue tablecloth, but then other elements are not right, and you see that apparently the blue tablecloth is what the man is dressed. So we can improve with the prompts, and of course the AI itself needs improvement. But the nice thing we've done so far is that it can create in mind graph style. So now the last part, third mission, use templates to apply content. In this case, I mean graphical abstracts. It was done in a hackathon, so it needs to be improved to the level of a product. But we use a template like this, and information is tracked to create graphical abstracts, including mind graph illustrations. Were selected from the gallery with the tagging you saw, and of course, extracting and creating texts based on the real papers. So you see here, this is a real paper published by a former student of mine, and this is like a very simple graphical abstract based on this template. Of course, we can employ many different templates and we can improve the charts, but just the concept, right? The concept of using real information, extracting a scientifically valid way, summarize and conclude, use illustrations, things like that. So this is possible. Of course, Midjourney is not the right tool to create a graphical abstracts, but this tool, these images you are seeing, they are proper scientific graphical abstracts created by an AI with the proper human and with the proper AI. So there's still hope. And this is another example, still not in the product pipeline, but it's just an idea we have of using the same or similar AI to create pieces for social media. That will be like a Twitter post. So just to summarize the concluding remarks, learn how to prompt is key for you to use AI properly. There's not yet a perfect tool for AI powered infographics, but I believe you're going to create that. Scientific images probably can be generated by AI. That's my belief. Human and robot should create together. AI is not magic. You should interact with the robot, tell him what you want to do. And I'm convinced that we can generate useful applications of AI in scientific content, including visual communication. Shall not be afraid, but use it carefully and with ethics. So the human element is still important. Thank you all for the attention. Of course, you can come to MindGraph. Next week, we're going to launch our text-to-image generator, and second semester, you'll probably see the poster maker and graphical abstract maker alive. Now open for questions and comments on top of those you already made on text. Thank you very much for watching. Let's see. Q&A. I'm seeing a few reactions. Thanks. I'm very glad you like it because I'm passionate about this topic. Of course, you need to fix a few things, as I mentioned, but I do believe that there is a place for AI on scientific communication. And training the human, keeping the human element in mind is still very important, and I believe it will always be important because whenever there's a robot, there's someone pressing the button. Unless you probably saw this meme where you have a robot pressing the button stating that it is a human. So unless we employ robots like that, pressing the button will still be important. Anyone here who is a biologist? Dr. Ahmed is asking. I'm a pharmacist. I don't know if this helps, but I saw that somebody has answered. Can you use AI in human biology? What do you mean by AI in human biology, Dr. Abdul? I'm not quite sure what do you mean by that. To explain human biology, to understand human biology, or to, let's say, interfere with human biology. I believe all of them are possible. Do you have any examples from business or economics? Very good question. Question by Usman Khalid. I always have questions like that. Is MindGraph just for life science? Is MindGraph just for medical communication? No, that's my fault. It's my bias. I typically am better in giving examples like that, but there's no restraint in terms of business. Subject area. You can use MindGraph with different illustrations for any field. You can request illustrations, and of course now you can even generate your own illustrations. I don't know exactly how graphical abstracts are being used in business or economics papers, like in research, if used at all. But I do know that infographics are being used for marketing purpose, and that's pretty much business. So I'm going to tell you a story on how I sold the company. So the first thing was a one-pager summary of the whole business history using an infographic. So at least for that, M&A purpose, or to present the company for fundraising, for product presentation, you can use infographics. And for economics, I mean, you use charts everywhere, right? So data visualization is probably an important tool for the economics field as well. So you got to see that being applied to AI being applied to this topic as well. Is there a difference between chart, graphs, and figures? Very good questions. And chart is like when you have data. Graph in English is a more generic meaning, right? Anything that is visual is like a graph, and a figure, it's something that is also generic, but in scientific communication, a figure is more referred to as the figure in the paper. Okay, so this terminology, it changed from one place to the other. It's not like consensual, not consensual. It's not a consensus, but typically charts are used for data. Graph is general, figure are the figures in the paper. What type of AI can I use for illustrative presentation? I like Tom. Tom is a nice AI. I like beautiful.ai. These are more modern applications when it comes to presentations, but we will eventually get to this point in MinderGraph as well. So if you can use MinderGraph illustrations in Tom or beautiful.ai, you'll be happy with the result. How do we avoid the lazy and counterproductive response of publishers? Then AI, rather than getting smarter about using robots to fight robots. Issue I see is most software that detects use of AI in text today is highly inaccurate. Very good question by Benny Rubinstein. So first thing, we need to advocate for AI, right? We need to educate the publishers. I was doing that just 1 hour ago, just to give you one example. So we pitched an AI graphical website maker for a publisher 2 years ago, more or less, when we started this journey. It wasn't ready yet, but they were first skeptical about graphical abstract, not quite sure, and whether or not AI could be useful, but they were intrigued at least. Now they are afraid. So we need to desensitize, okay? And I agree with you, the software that detects plagiarism or AI, they are still inaccurate, but we are getting there. I recommend you to check a Cactus software called PaperPal. PaperPal has a plagiarism and AI AI check tool that is really working nice, and it's being applied in papers, in the paper context. It's being used by publishers as well. So try PaperPal, Benny. That'll be my suggestion. How will the AI create visual images and how it will carry the information to the reader? I think I answered already in the presentation, right, Abdul? Which specific AI tool did you use for the current presentation? Very good. So this one was the MinderGraph internal tool for the illustrations, and for the photos I use Midjourney. Okay, so that just to give you one example, Midjourney is awesome, but it's not adequate for the current context. What could be appropriate prompt when I need to create biology or molecular images using AI? And are the prompt used for all AI? Are the same prompt used for all AI? Very good question by Professor Nivin Sharawi. So it's hard to get to this level of molecular image right now, okay? So they are private tools like the ones used in the paper. You should dig into that paper to look for histochemical images and things like that. But for molecular images and pathways, I think we are not yet there. Are the same prompts used for all AI? No, not at all. It depends on the training of the AI. And this brings another level of complexity. So typically the AI tools, they have the guidelines for prompting, and you can use ChatGPT or other LLM to create prompts for that. Or of course, you gotta learn yourself. But the inputs for the AI can be specific for that AI, particularly when it comes to image generation. Can you demo prompt for AI in infographic? I tried to do that with a few examples because we didn't have enough for time constraints, but you could do that yourself when we launch the text to image next week, text to image feature. And feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn if you want. Fahisham, I'm talking to Fahisham Taib. Marta Zizianova, will the presentation be available? I believe so. Aditi can answer that, and I believe we have the record. What's your take on technology intruding into research area? Is it a boom or bane? I don't know exactly what you're referring. If it's use of AI to write papers, I believe it can be used in a certain way, but it should be used, ethically and as a tool, not like write me a paper about whatever X, Y, and Z. Okay, not pretty sure if I got your question, Saravanan, but that was my try to answer. Feel free to comment more if I didn't answer properly. I use PaperPal. It's great, but haven't used the plagiarism part. So I suggest you to do that. Uh, Also, there are PaperPal pre-flight, which just a checklist on the paper. Uh, Whenever you want to submit a paper, you can run it through PaperPal pre-flight, and it does give an excellent checklist of what's included, what is good and what's not. We are about to co-develop an image checker as well for PaperPal pre-flight. It's like an additional tool for PaperPal. What about Lorenado.ai? I don't know this AI specifically. Their AI is being launched almost every day. I try to keep an eye open for this. I use the Futurepedia as a website to look for new AIs, but they are literally AIs being created every day. So if you want to comment about this AI, feel free. I don't know Lorenado.ai, but I'm gonna take a note to have a look. Thanks for the suggestion. More questions, comments? I'm trying to answer everyone, at least to give attention to all the topics. Really like the interaction. Thank you for so many comments, so many questions. For sake of time, I didn't answer them during the presentation, but it was really cool to see all the insightful comments. And I realized that there are people with some experience with AI already in the audience. Of course, I mean, it's something that is poking in our chairs, in our departments, in our laboratories, and people are using that, particular students. So we need to position, we need to understand that, at least to say use it or not. But I prefer to have a position of saying use it like this. Okay, so guide people. But we cannot get around that anymore. We cannot escape from that anymore. More questions? Aditi, I hand it over to you. I don't know if you have more time. I believe we should end soon for sake of time, to respect people's time. So Aditi, feel free. And thank you all again for being part of this. And I hope you all follow the developments of AI on scientific communication in Mindgraph, mindgraph.com. Very easy to find. I hope you like it. For me, it was a really pleasant experience, and I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you, guys. It was great.